We have started with the Shops and Establishment Act. So, continuation of that act will be discussing about the registration establishment. This means if a shop or a factory or any organization that needs to register itself under the Shops and Establishment, what are the procedure that a company need to follow. The registration of establishment is done as per Section 5. Section 5 imposes an obligation upon the occupier of every establishment to send to the chief inspector a statement during a specified time in prescribed form together with prescribed fees containing, that means simply the occupier, whoever is the occupier of any establishment, he has to send the entire forms and the applications and requisite documents along with the statement to the chief inspector, right? So this is application form plus fees, everything has to be sent by the occupier to the chief inspector. This will contain the name of the employer and the manager if any, that is name of the employer, postal address, then name if any of tile establishment, category of tile establishment, that is whether it is a shop, commercial establishment, residential, hotel, restaurant, eating house, theatre or other place of public amusement. We have earlier noticed that the definition under the Shops and Establishment Act for shops or the commercial establishment as well as for residential hotel are different. That means entire definitions are different for eating house as well as for a restaurant. The definitions are different. The number of employees working about the business, so we also employer and employer also need to mention, or the occupier need to mention the number of employee in that organization, the number of employee working about the business of the establishment and such other such particulars as may be prescribed. Now, on receipt of the statement and the fees, the chief inspector shall, on being satisfied about tile correctness of the tile statement, register the establishment in tile register of the establishment in such manner as may be prescribed and shall be issued in a prescribed form a registration certificate to the occupier. So this is very clear. First, the occupier, rather we can say the company's implements, the employer or the occupier, whatever name you can say, he will apply to the chief inspector. Now chief inspector will just investigate and he will check, verify, and if he found that everything is correct, then he will definitely issue the tile statement. According to the statement, he will, if he is satisfied about the tile correctness of the tile statement, register the establishment in tile register of establishment, right? The registration certificate shall be prominently displayed at the establishment and shall be renewed at such interval prescribed. So once an organization received any certificate, any certificate, it can be even a trade license certificate also need to be displayed at the place of the trade. So here this is the Shops and Establishment Act certificate, that an organization is registered under Shops and Establishment Act. So that certificate need to be displayed in the, it has to be prominently displayed at the establishment, and renewal need to be done as whatever interval it may have described. So in case of any sort of dispute or conflict that may arise between the occupier and the chief inspector regarding the category, if means the chief inspector is not satisfied with the category to which the company needs to be registered, then the chief inspector will refer the matter to the government. So within 90 days from the tile date mentioned in the column 2 below in respect of the establishment mentioned in column 1, the statement together with fees shall be sent to the chief inspector under subsection 1. This is all about the registration. Now let us move to the next part, that is changes to be communicated to the chief inspector. We all understood that the changes, whatever the proposed changes, or an organization wishes to do any sort of changes, this needs to be communicated to the chief inspector. He holds a very important position. So chief inspector is very important here. This is as per section 6. So as per section 6 imposes a duty upon the occupier to notify the chief inspector. So this is this is the duty of the occupier. We can say as per section 6 it clearly imposes a duty of the occupier to notify, for notifying any changes any changes on a prescribed form, and any changes in respect of any information contained in his statement under subsection 1 of section 5 within 30 days from the change has taken place. So I'm just mentioning this point again. This is notify any changes in respect of any information. So the occupier need to mention any changes whatever has been done under subsection 1 of section 5. So I'm just making it clear, section 5 subsection 1. So according to this, within 30 days, this is normal clause for any changes, it has to be notified within 30 days. Fine. After the change has taken place, on receipt of such notice and the prescribed fee, and on being satisfied about its correctness, make the change in the register of establishment in accordance with such notice, and the chief inspector shall amend the registration certificate or issue a fresh registration certificate if it is necessary. So this was the changes. If there's any changes, then the chief inspector will be notified about any changes. Next part is closing of establishment to be communicated to the chief inspector. So this is as per section 7. The occupier is required to notify within 45 days of his closing the establishment to the chief inspector. So if the institute is going to get closed, or the establishment is, so closing of the establishment need to be notified within 45 days. So as I was discussing about the section 7 that deals with the closing of the establishment. If any if the occupier under section 7, the occupier is required to notify within 45 days of his closing the establishment to the chief inspector in writing. On receipt of such information, and the chief inspector being satisfied about the nature of closure, shall remove such establishment from the register of establishment and cancel the registration certificate. Simply the registration will get cancelled once the chief inspector gets satisfied about this. Fine. Now the working hours. Next section is the working hour. Now this section is very important, as we all know that entire Shops and Establishment Act actually deals with, as we have discussed about the Factories Act, it normally deals with the rules and regulation related to factories, whereas in the Shops and Establishment Act we find the actual things that we can relate to, means whatever is required for an employee to understand, for an HR to get an understanding. So these are the few sections which should be cleared. So first section is employment of adults and hours of work. This is the first that comes under this working hours, and this is employment of adults and hours of work under section 8. So this is dealt in section 8. No adult shall be employed or allowed to work about the business of an establishment for more than 9 hours or any day on any day. So it clearly implies that not more than 9 hours working in a single day, or 48 hours in a week. This is maximum. The occupier is required to fix the daily periods of working accordingly. So accordingly means if it is 48 hours in a week, then within 5 days or 6 days it could be divided, like 6 into 8 is 40, 6 multiplied by 8 is 48, right? So the occupier is required to fix the daily periods of working accordingly. However, during any period of stock taking or making of accounts of any other prescribed purpose, any adult may be allowed or required to work for more than the hours fixed in this section, but not exceeding 54 hours in the week, subject to the condition that the aggregate hours so shall not exceed 150 hours in a year. So even if for some stock taking or maybe due to accounts aggregation purpose, there in some cases you'll find that overtime needs to be done, then in that case it should not exceed this 54 hours a week. Fine. And 54 hours a week, and also condition that the aggregate hours so worked shall not exceed 150 hours a year. That means ultimately totally it should not, means I'm talking about the working hours, should not exceed 150 hours in a year. So three concept. First is employment of adult, means an adult will work according to section 8 not more than 9 hours in a day. एक दिन में 9 hours in a day or 48 hours in a week. In case of stock taking or some aggregate purpose, कुछ important काम है, then in that case it should not go beyond, means even if it is going above 48, it should not go beyond 54 hours. वो 54 hours a week से नहीं जाना चाहिए. Subject to the condition, अब वो 54 आवर्स तक भी चला गया, सब्जेक्ट टू द कंडीशन द एग्रीगेट आवर्स सो वर्क शैल नॉट एक्सीड 150 आवर्स इन अ ईयर. दैट मीन्स मैक्सिमम इज 150 आवर्स इन अ ईयर. ठीक है. देन नेक्स्ट क्लॉज इज रेस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन डबल एम्प्लॉयमेंट. No person shall work about the business of an establishment or two or more establishment or an establishment and a factory in excess of the period during which he may be lawfully employed under this act. Suppose, means here it is clearly mentioning about the restrictions on double employment. If I am employed in one shop or an establishment for maybe for 8 hours a day, then in that case I cannot be established in any other organization also. Suppose I thought of working in 8 hours in this organization, 8 hours in another organization, so this cannot be done. So there is a restriction. No person shall work about the business of an establishment or two or more establishment or an establishment and a factory. It is possible that I work in one establishment and another in a factory in excess of the period during which he may be lawfully employed under this act. That means my total working hours should not exceed 150 hours in a year. Even if I am employed in 2 or 3 places, but my total working period or working hours should not exceed 150 hours in a year. This is very important. Now, next is interval for rest and meals. This is the another point. The period of work of an adult employee. Just let me write interval for rest and meal. The period of work of an adult employee in an establishment each day shall be so fixed that no period of continuous work shall exceed 5 hours and no employee shall be required to allow to work for more than 5 hours before he has an interval for the rest and meals of at least half an hour. That means you work for 5 hours, then you should get a 30-minute break. The interval is maximum 5 hours. It is not 5 hours. It is maximum 5 hours and then you get a 30-minute break. This is very important. Means you cannot continue for a continue work, right? Then spread over. The periods of work on any day of an adult person shall be so arranged that inclusive of his interval for rest or meals are required under section 10. Spread over is mentioned under section 10. The periods of work on any day of an adult person shall be so arranged that inclusive of his interval spread over means the period of work on any day of an adult person shall be so arranged that inclusive of his interval for rest or meals as required under section 10, they shall not spread over for more than 10 and half hours in any commercial establishment or for more than 10 and half hours in any commercial establishment or for more than 12 hours in any shop. So it is means even the spread over including of the interval, the rest, that means you have your working hours plus your rest, that is your means meal, tiffin, whatever time. It includes everything, including of all this thing also. The time, the total time shall not, it should not be more than 10.5 hours in a day in any commercial establishment, fine, as well as and should not be more than 12 hours in any shop, and should not be more than 12 hours in any shop. This is the normal procedure. That means for spread over, this is according to section 10. For the spread over this section 10, that means the periods of work and your tiffin, rest, whatever, if you include everything, it should not go beyond 10.5 hours in any commercial establishment and should not be more than 12 hours in any shop. Okay. Now, next section is prohibition of employment of children, young persons and women. So here we will be discussing about prohibition of employment of children, young persons and women. So we have discussed about this prohibition of employment. Prohibition of employment of children, young person and women.
क्या चीज ट्यूब जला दें.
Prohibition of employment of children. First section. No child shall be required or allowed to work, whether as an employee or otherwise, in any establishment, notwithstanding the child is a member of the family of the employer. That means no child shall be required. यहाँ पे बात हो रही है कि कोई भी बच्चा हो, no child shall be required or allowed to work, whether as an employee or otherwise, in any establishment, notwithstanding that the child is a member of the family of the employee. वो family member हो, नहीं हो, किसी कुछ भी हो, कोई भी child is not allowed to work in any shop or establishment. Employment of young persons and women. No young person shall be required or allowed to work about the business of an establishment for more than 6 hours a day. We have already discussed that day about the young person और adult सबके बारे में हमने बात किया. तो ये young person के बारे में. तो young person shall be required or allowed. No young person shall be required or allowed to work about the business for more than 6 hours a day. That is maximum 6 hours a day. इसका मतलब उन लोग को मेनली अप्रेंटिस या ट्रेनी के रूप में रखा जाता है. नो यंग पर्सन शैल बी एम्प्लॉयड कंटिन्यूसली फॉर मोर देन 3.5 hours without an interval of at least an hour or for rest or meals and spread over shall not exceed 8 hours in any day. मतलब यंग पर्सन के लिए जो यंग पर्सन मैक्सिमम 6 hours काम कर सकते हैं. इसके बाद shall be employed continuously for more than 3.5 hours a day.